I'm Thomas Hunt from the World Crypto Network, and here are today's Bitcoin headlines. Bitcoin price chart nears bullish cross that last time preceded 10K. By Philb, writing in Cointelegraph. Bitcoin price bulls print fifth consecutive green weekly candle, but remain at the mercy of traditional markets as the price dipped below 7K on Monday once more. Bitcoin closed the week at $7,126, with highs of $7,306 and lows of $7,472. This represented a gain of 3.16% and a fifth consecutive week of buying pressure since the sharp drop into the 3,000s, which was quickly rejected. Bitcoin has begun the week with a sell-off, with prices pushing below 7,000, following traditional markets, which are also down around 2% on Monday morning. Ether, which was up 14% last week with highs reaching $190 and outperforming Bitcoin, is down 2.86% at $175. EOS, which had a strong 4% positive week last week, is proving more resilient than both Bitcoin and Ether and is trading flat at $2.60. Bitcoin dominance was down 1.2% last week, just below 64%, mainly as a result of gains printed by Ethereum, EOS, Link, and Tezos. The 1-week Bitcoin chart. The weekly chart paints a relatively straightforward picture defined by key moving averages. The 200 and 100-week moving average had previously been acting as support and resistance, with the 100 weekly moving average being repeatedly tested over the previous 5 weeks, defined by higher weekly closes, illustrating a lack of selling interest. The weekly close, marginally above the 100-week moving average, also means that the bulls have pushed prices 50% of the way back to the 2020 highs, with the 20-week moving average and 61.8 retracement being the next obstacle to overcome, just below 8K, if momentum can be maintained. Meanwhile, the moving average convergence-divergence (MACD) indicator is showing that the bulls are close to achieving a bullish cross, which has previously preceded larger bullish moves, with the last 2 instances of occurrences taking the price of Bitcoin across 10K. Additionally, there is unconfirmed bullish divergence on the histogram, which supports the case that the bears are no longer in control of the momentum. Also, last week's volume remained relatively high, showing that buyers have been in control of price action now for 5 solid weeks. This buying volume is clearly shown by the on-balance volume (OBV) indicator, which tracks cumulative volume dictated by price direction. This particular indicator, therefore, highlights the impact of continued high-volume buying, printing higher highs, and surpassing the 2020 peak, which further illustrates that bulls have been firmly in the driving seat in recent weeks. Last week's lows of 6,500 demonstrated that the bulls are interested in buying the 6,500 level once more, as they were back in December 2019, which defined the period of accumulation ahead of the fast move to 10K. Bitcoin appears to have reclaimed this accumulation range once more, and it would be expected that 6,500 will be an area of buying interest should it be retested. However, the bulls need to reach out into the upper 7,000s to show strength. One-day Bitcoin chart. The latter half of last week saw Bitcoin break out of both the 50-day moving average as well as the 100-week moving average. The 200 and 100-day moving averages are overhead, also shepherding the top of the previous accumulation range that defined Q4 2019. The 6 weeks needed to break above this consolidation earlier in the year implies that significant work remains for the bulls in order to break out and make a move towards 10K. Early positive signs would come in the form of persistent buying and higher lows, which has been the case, but Bitcoin remains some 12% below a more definitive test of resistance. Bump and run reversal. Bitcoin has arguably broken out of the descending resistant level, which led from February through the capitulation drop. The chart pattern is similar to the so-called bump and run reversal pattern that, once broken, can lead to a price target being as high as that from the start of the lead-in, which would imply a measured target being the 2020 highs of 10K. This pattern requires a high volume breakout that has arguably been missing, and as such, remained unconfirmed, but certainly of interest. High correlation remains. Bitcoin has been strongly correlated to the traditional markets through the 2020 pandemic sell-off, with a correlation to the S&P 500 being closer to that of gold, which to date has been the safe haven of choice for investors. The correlation to the S&P 500 implies that Bitcoin is still viewed as a risk-on asset, and a shakedown of the traditional markets could spell trouble for the price of Bitcoin, with warning shots having already been fired on Monday morning, taking prices below 7K. Market sentiment. Overall sentiment regarding the price of Bitcoin remains low, with the fear and greed index implying that the market generally remains in a state of extreme fear. Funding has also remained negative or close to zero, with futures contracts also trading in backwardization below spot. Historically, in times of extreme fear, have been periods of peak opportunity to buy Bitcoin, with the majority being too fearful to take advantage of low prices. The herd is typically wrong in the markets, and as such, some contrarian investors will see this as a signal to buy. Looking forward. In summary, Bitcoin remains evidently tied to the traditional markets, which remain in a similar state of shock and uncertainty. With the block reward halving 3 weeks away, Bitcoin may still be viewed as being at a discount in comparison to prices traded early in the year in anticipation of the halving event. Evidence for this is that the previous accumulation range above $6,500 appears to be holding in the short term. As we move into the week, the bulls will be looking at $6,500 as a buying opportunity, whereas the bears will be defending $7,200. A bullish break to the upside would mean a target of the 20-week moving average in the upper 7,000s. The views and opinions expressed here are solely those of the author and do not necessarily reflect the views of Cointelegraph or the World Crypto Network. Every investment and trading move involves risks. You should conduct your own research when making a decision. This has been Bitcoin price chart nears bullish cross that last time preceded 10K by Philb in Cointelegraph on Bitcoin headlines. My name is Thomas Hunt. Remember to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching the World Crypto